Exploit. Oh yeah, load my exploits stopped working, didn't they? Oh, that's a shame. PIDs work for Steady Blades now, don't they? That's going to make my hovercraft so much better. Let's have a look at the Arethusa. Yeah, because I can remove all of this right mess. All these ACBs for just a couple of PID blocks, which is kind of awesome. And same with the Deadly Blades, because I won't have to have... I can actually have them linked, rather than having, you know, each of these Deadly Blades separate, they can be linked together, because one... at the moment I think I have it so one is utilised for essentially pitch, one roll, one altitude. I can have them all set for doing the same things. Based on where they are in the craft, they can have different modifiers. So this one will have less than the pitch, this one will have a little bit less in pitch. Both will have some effect to the altitude. Suddenly I think each one of these has altitude, altitude, roll, altitude and pitch. Which works. It does that. This craft does still function quite nicely. Got a little bit of a bob to it, though, because of that. Whereas a good old Deadly Blade tester. This thing used to be actually was actually originally a Deadly Blade one, but look at how stable that thing is. Just kind of crazy. So try and pitch it to roll it and all sorts of things, and it just, yep. And full power, Deadly Blade just keeps it pretty darn stable. Not perfect, because I haven't configured it up properly, but considering this was just a very, very light base, I do like it. That means my three thruster vehicle will work perfectly well, which is kind of cool. I never really got particularly on well with this hover tank. It was designed specifically to trial out, well, forward-facing crams, making a stable craft utilising 3 blades. But in the end, I end up having to use a ton of thrusters to keep it stable, because it wasn't. With this update, I should be able to, because I can now have all these as PID systems, adjust it a little bit and get rid of these expensive thrusters. Because, well, you know, big 450 thrust is kind of expensive. And this is not functioning very well. Oh, tank tread. There's tank treads. Okay, so my actual tank is holding itself pretty well on the wheels. Wheel. Mark wheels. Oh, right. Oh, you can set them up to work out the tanks without A3. Right, that's fine. Oh no, I thought you were actually wondering. I thought it meant about actual tank treads from Autocascalism had been added, which I thought would have been really quite an awesome feature. Yeah. So the ones in Cataclysm do look pretty good. They're a right mess, because rather than just one or two components, you have about 15 per angle, but they work. Drive wheel preset. Oh! Let's go tank wheel preset on everything. Right, oh good grief, does this mean you have to click on every single one, or do they know?
Control moving out.
Well, let's get the wheels. Powered wheels. I know copy paste is the thing, it's just because the wheels are opposite way around, it won't work properly. You see, this one is set differently to this one, just because they're back and forth. It's quite annoying. That's why this vehicle's a bit of a pain in me. Though I'll see if it works with just these ones. So, because now I actually have all these actual presets, it should work fine without having to worry about all these extra wheels. If I do this properly later, I can actually save this vehicle. It wasn't particularly good. Okay, copy those ones, and then this one. Copy. Oh, actually, these are. Almost there. Wait, no, I'll screw that up, didn't I? I've messed this up, haven't I? And the wheels aren't going to work.
Moving out, moving out.
No, I've messed something up on this. Let's just take it down to a single set of wheels, just so I can just fully confirm that this actually works.
out.
Right. Oh, that bloom is bright. I think this is a little bit bright. Most of the proportions facing backwards, yeah. Let's see if it works if I put it a correct way around. Tank, copy, paste, paste, paste.
Moving out. Moving out.
Where is the tank? I can't see it. Right. Options. Bloom. Okay, reducing bloom threshold. Oh, it's made it worse. How do I remove the bloom? Good grief, it's still... Get rid of this. That's just insane. Okay, it's just the sun is intense. Okay, let's bring it down to a 1. And it's only mildly terrible. Oh, good grief. Well, I think the tank is actually turning now with tank turning, so there is that. Where is the, I want to see forces on this craft. Where's forces? I'm gonna reset the designer because that is mind hurting. I suppose this is because it's neater, isn't it? It's probably not designed for ground. That's just so much bloom. What would the lasers still hold up in this game? It looks alright on the eyes. Okay, that still works. Yeah, the cost of heavy armor went up. I'm actually not too sure what I want to design now. There's so many little ideas. One thing, have you actually looked at the breadboards at all? Oh, yeah, for the regulator block. Okay, cool. I'm going to go have a look at the breadboards, see if I can mess around with anything with them. So this should operate fine on its own with its PID system. Okay, something seems to be up with PID. Yeah, it seems to be... Yeah, it does seem to be doing... So single breadboard. This... Something seems to be playing up with the... Yeah, the PID on this anyway, but where is the... Where's my PID? I don't like the fact that it keeps coming up with that. Right, there we go. Pitch seems okay, it's the roll. Oh, it looks like... Ah, that's why. It looks like all these got reset. Used to gain a bit. No, that seems to make it fluctuate more. No, that doesn't seem to be doing. Just put an integral in there. It still seems to be fluctuating pretty heavily. I think it might be to do with the altitude, actually. What could be happening... I think what's happening is the altitude PID is actually overwriting the roll one. Yeah, that was exactly what was happening. So the altitude controls were overwriting the roll, so hence with the erratic flight. Yeah, that worked perfectly. Anyway, breadboards. So component that can move by... So is this PID controller an actual PID, or is it operates on PIDs? Oh, hang on. Oh, yeah, good point. What's there? Oh, a beam. Control breadboard, closed circuits, prototypes. Yeah. Oh, it's actual PID. Interesting. Which one do I want? Breadboard or... So, propulsion... Alright. This is a... How do I move this thing? Because it's kind of in the way. So, PID. Ah, so it's the outputs. Right, got it. Got it. So, altitude. Looks like it's a component that can be moved. Moved by pressing right mouse button. Right mouse button. Was it one of these components? No. Oh, that. Ah. Oh, it's not drag. Okay. Right, see. Sure. But then that can be... say... pitch. I have two values for... Right, I get this. So I'd need... I think. But for the PID, I'd need two inputs. One at 0 and one at infinity? Also, outputs the roll. No, outputs, right. Oh yeah, I can see it could be quite a mess. And then the output will be to propulsion. Okay, I think I kind of get this. So you'd have to set up the PID. To set it up as a PID, I need to actually set up the basically all of this using these tank things. But then I could fit all three of them under the same board instead of having three components. That makes sense. It's just, yeah, this interface will take a while to get used to. Multiply component, but no, though it makes sense. It makes sense. Just yeah, the yeah, this interface is tiny. Oh yeah, it makes more sense. It's just that yeah, these little things which you have to click on, the tiny little things, you know, make sure it's clicking on the right one, and because then I'd actually be able to set it up like this, like that. Just more sort of like that, isn't it? Yeah. Anyway, I think I've figured that kind of sort of makes sense. Does this cannon still work? It looks flashier. Doesn't seem to do any damage anymore. That's a shame. Yeah, I sort of get the idea. It will take a lot of fiddling and messing around, a bit like a lot of the ACBs. Think of it. ACBs, the interface will have changed, I expect, won't it? Ooh, yeah. You spend it down, time of day, target and action. Oh, good grief, there's them. ACBs seem more powerful than they used to be, which is nice. Missiles within missiles of torpedoes. I'll still not actually being able to detect shells. That's a shame. I was hoping to be able to detect shells and do some sneaky things with that. Control. Battery. Oh. So, vehicle stat. Recently tapped by laser. I presume it still needs a laser detector for that. Laser warner. No, I have not. There's some pretty neat little things by the looks of things. Sound blocks, holograms, all that sort of thing. And using range target information. That's quite interesting. I could see some really useful sneaky things with this. Actually setting up weapon systems to only be able to target certain craft. Or at least a priority. That's one thing I'd like to be able to do, is set up priorities so more precisely than the base game. Because if I want to have a laser system, I want it to be able to take out stuff which is, you know, without smoke ideally, and just stuff, general stuff like that. That's cool. And I did spot these melee lenses in the lasers and the particle cannons. Do they actually work? They seem to be, well, weak. Like only 100 health. That's not exactly the most robust thing. But at the same time, it sounds kind of cool. Output regulator. Oh. Okay, see. I need to test that regulator out. Where's my battleship laser? There we go. Oh no, that's just the plans of the battleship laser. Laser turret, that's the one with the actual laser built on it. Oh, the thing is, will Zero Q still have the damage reduction, so it's just a right pain. Whereabouts the output regulator connect to? Is it just any part of the component? Oh, the actual firing piece. Oh, no. Wait. Does it keep its own colour? In place of the Q switch? We'll just fire it and see what happens. Or compare before and after. I really need to make a new detector array though. That's rubbish. So sustained damage per second is 43200, right. Got it. Take that off. Damage of so the damage of next shot. Got it. Ah, I see. So damage of the next shot. Let's do that. The damage is fluctuating high and low. But the thing is, it is always at the maximum because I designed this laser properly to be able to cope with that. But if you don't design the laser right... So now... Now it's going down because it's not charging up. Okay. Honestly, it doesn't seem to make too much difference. There isn't a 4Q. On a 1Q system it probably does. But yeah, honestly, the regulator doesn't seem to make that much difference if you design the layers with it all in place. It just seems to makes things easier to read, I guess. But so it's more for storage-based lasers. Got it. Okay, you can leave it alone now. Right, so it should now basically fire a few shots at 22,000, then it will go down. Right. Whereas without, it will fluctuate downwards. As now, it will fire 22, then drop. Ah, yeah, I see. And it will then regulate around about the 5. Got it. So it makes... I can definitely see the regulator being really good for almost like bomber plane type things. Because I can set the regulator on for this. Yeah. I can definitely see with it, with a 0Q laser, you'd be able to maximise the amount of damage it can do despite it having a minus, well, 50% reduction in damage. You could just completely annihilate its actual everything. So yeah, no energy available compared to, you know, a small amount. Oh, this has interesting connotations. Now it's now not doing any damage at all, but that initial blast did a huge amount. Well, this is close. I now need to add a little bit more laser array onto it. Here's my laser array. I have no idea what my laser array is. Oh! Musical pack. Let's add a few more of these things on. And just see how ridiculous this could be with a 0Q laser. What's the next shot? Sustain damage per shot, yeah. 7,200 per shot. It won't be able to sustain this for very long. Let's add 5 onto each of these. Yeah. Oh, this is going to be like the overpowered lasers when I was when you had exploits. So Kingstead, let's see how long it lasts. Lost a bit of barrel there. It did a huge amount of damage then, not very much. Problem is it aims... Yeah, you need to actually pulse it on and off, I think, for the ultimate amount of damage. But and yeah, if it decides to aim at anything else, not got a chance. You'd have really good detection, I think. And an AI which is not derp. We've got aim point on this. Target random block. No, let's target only mainframe ammo storage. Maximum time for training blocks is 1 second. Now, this should be able to core things almost instantly. It does 1,000 damage before it runs out of juice. Let's compare it to a non-regulator variant. Before it basically runs out of charge. Again, it's the same sort of thing, but what I need to do, I need to get rid of my front adjuster. Oh goodness, the game's just gone stupidly laggy. I've got 30 AP. And damage per shot, pretty high. But yeah, I'm going to have to cut this short soon. It's just, I'm suddenly dropping frames all over the place. What's the stream health like? It's still saying it's okay, but mine seems to be doing pretty badly. I think you're right. It's probably even more storage. This would actually work for a plane. An actual laser bomber, which would be really quite cool, and would be something I'd like to see as the Lightning Hoods rather than their current things of death cheesecraft. Yeah. I think I actually overpenned it then. No? Oh, just caught out the entire base of the ship. Right. As with all lasers, shooting anything underwater just completely ruins it. Get something like the Eerie, that's quite a bit nicer. But, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you mean by the 0 damage. But at the same time, I do think it's very useful to have, because if you manage to have an equilibrium, if you can't get an equilibrium which is able to take down a beam per pulse, that's what you want. It's really good in that respect, because it means you can have every shot take out a beam until it gets to low power. Because as you can see, if they aren't able to, if each pulse isn't able to take down a beam, lasers are considerably weaker in my opinion, because you have to hit the same beam multiple times to be able to deal the damage. Now have a look at this thing here. Yeah, the 4Q is very potent. I turned you off. And the 4Q is able to maintain its firepower without the regulator, which is how I prefer them. If Zero Q didn't have such a downplayed of damage, this would make it so much more powerful. Yeah, I can definitely see it. Zero Q has a lot more uses with the regulator. It's just still the minus 50% damage is just so heavy against it. Oh, is it still giving out the efficiency? I thought all the queues were the same now. I thought all one. I thought 1, 2, 3, and 4 Q are actually all the same now in terms of damage they deal. I'm sure they are. Let's check that. Because all these lines are the same. And now the laser will actually tell us. So yeah, that well, looks things are all exactly the same. So all have got exactly the same power, and the damage of the one, obviously the 1Q, the sustained damage is just double on all of them compared to the 0Q. Oh right. So it's actually... Oh, good grief. What the heck is happening into my game? I'm going to have to end the stream soon. My computer is dying or the game is dying. Ah, yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Well, that's good to know. It's useful to know there is changes like that. But grief though. Yeah, something's going on. The game is going weirdly laggy at points. Oh, good grief. My missile defenders are now so stupidly expensive. That's all looked out. Yeah, nothing which I can really think of at the moment which I want to now test out. There's a few things which I want to look into, like the breadboards, get that sorted out, and also get used to some of the aesthetics. One thing I do also want to try and figure out is a weapon system which can replace the simple cannons. So the simple weapons, because they're a large cannon, they do a good amount of damage. And the problem there is that, well, they're cheap, but I'm sure the bug still exists with them, which causes the memory leak, which is not good at all. I know I haven't broken the design yet. I'm not running the dev test, admittedly. Apparently the dev test is... I've heard it can be fairly unstable, but no, I've not managed to break it, but I have been playing only with fairly simple things and stuff which I have tested previously, i.e. my tester. But yeah, the annoyance with the simple cannons still causing lag and memory leaks is just a pain. Barrel direct fire APS. Is that even any good? Mantlet, barrel, barrel. OPS, so I want 3 barrels. You're a shallow mind. So probably, well, hollow points and probably just solid. I've lost T. Let's see how this actually. What's the fire rate if it only has 1 barrel part? Well, not too bad actually. Shell damage is kind of pitiful though, isn't it? Expected kinetic damage 38. Yeah. Where do I want to need it to set? Does that actually have control now, does it? Okay. Rotate to angle. Can I give it to an angle? Angle control. Let's set it at 90. Do you have to use a slider? We want to just put in the number rather than mess around with a slider. Blooming thing. I was just trying to keep it fairly, fairly small in comparison, because the things which I'm trying to would be replacing are 2 blocks large. So I was trying to keep it at a similar scale, but see, some cannons aren't too shabby. It's just if the memory leak still exists, I don't really want to be keeping them around. And that is if the memory leak still exists. I haven't been able to find confirmation for or against. It's just it is likely to be the case. Oh, cool. I mean, moving the barrels together. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's quite cool. We're gonna have really narrow Gatling guns. Oh, no. Our railguns look like they haven't changed. Great. What railguns really need a regulated block type thing. It's fine. How big a shell do I need to be able to get up to 15? Also, how much is the simple cannons? They're pretty strong. 15,000 kinetic damage. That's good. Kinetic damage. Really? Oh, low AP, isn't it? I was thinking, oh, this shell is not one which I would have thought was in a simple cannon. That's not something I was expecting, to be perfectly honest. With that extra velocity, so I'd need to make it a slower velocity round. Shot velocity is very slow. Okay, that makes this a lot easier. There we go. Seriously, that is the equivalent shell as a simple weapon or something. That's about that. It's about the 300 mil round. Can't even see. Yeah, I know. It's just I'm just really surprised by actually how strong that cannon is. Oh, crap. Almost no kinetic. Again, no, it's all about the armor piercing value. See, that seems quite a lot stronger. Oh, yeah. I keep thinking armor piercing value actually has a huge effect, and that is going to be the biggest weakness of that simple cannon, being almost no AP. I think missiles are actually the the cheapest option. uh, that's crazy. A single missile launcher like so. So, pump ahead. What range thruster? Fins, so fuel tank, and then actually have some form of aiming capability in this thing while I'm just messing around with it. Wow, that's so bad. Yeah. Fuel tank. Range thruster. That will. A warhead arming delay. That's why it's not actually armed. Oh yeah, no doubt. It's just this actually... this is sort of the equivalent of that. I did make that into a one with simple lasers, in fact. That was quite interesting. Unfortunately, this because the simple lasers can't independently aim, it's a right mess. So 1,000... about 60 mil. And then give it a few, I don't know, it's a bow. Something like that is actually becoming more and more accurate. Yeah, well, Iron Cross, isn't it? Yeah, that's not the one. That uses cram cannons. think it's easy, isn't it? I know the Constellation uses... Yeah. Yeah, this would be a tad excessive with all those. I could. I do have a hollow point belt blaster, 500mm. It's good fun. I normally put squash in it, but it is good fun. And this is, yeah. On Earth. See, with the ship like this, I could actually convert a bank of the weapons into, you know, a couple of guns. Wouldn't have to have as many guns, but at the same time, the whole idea of this thing is that it has so many guns. Just something against a Marauder, it's, you know, it's the idea behind them is that, you know, it turns and fires all the guns. Then the Marauder also has a good number of them as well, doesn't it? Hmm. You see, yeah, the simple cannons are actually doing... There's a lot of damage they're dealing. Oh, yeah, that is what I did in the... That is what I did in the first time. I actually just went and deleted every single design which had simple cannons from the spawn lists. And there are enough. You know, you can easily play the game without, you know, take out all of the black powder ones. After all, it's not really those ones. Those ones, they slow the game down a lot. It's things like the Iron Cord and Trebuchet are the ones which you actually have to worry about. Despite the fact that, yes, all these things and these designs, they have a lot of stuff, they're not actually that dangerous. It just seems a shame to delete an entire fleet of ships and prevent them from spawning in completely, you know? But at the same time, this thing, if there is a memory leak associated with them, when things like this spawn in, there's so many of the guns that's going to cause problems. But yes, I'm going to actually probably end the stream there because I've run out of ideas at the moment. Well, I haven't run out of ideas, it's just that the ideas I have are going to take a long time to formulate and create actual things. So I need to go through all of these designs, go through all my temp, because a lot of this stuff just doesn't work anymore. Things like, you know, my actual craft, my old crews and things, they're just terrible. They just need updating. They've all needed updating for a while. It's just, with the changes now, it's a perfect opportunity to upgrade them and actually correct some things, because a lot of these designs, so things like more snap, it's just so ridiculously expensive, and yeah, it was never meant to be that expensive, but because it's got all these missiles on the back, it just pushes the price up so very high. Again, with some of the heavy armour, it seems to have shifted some of the costs as well. And this patrol boat, I think I designed this to be around about sub 15k, but again, it's got a group of missiles on the back, not very strong, but it's just pushed the costs so unbelievably high. Yeah, gonna have to go through all my designs, figure out what I want to do with regards to my fleet, because things like the Arethusa and the Leander are designs I want to revise and basically make a lot better. Leander C had a laser which was terrible. I think I will go back to the missile variant rather than the patrol version. I'll keep hold of the patrol version and yeah, just work on the Leander and make it that much more powerful. Then back to the Arethusa and then go from there, because I have some other ideas with larger craft which I can then use in the campaign, which I am hopefully going to start at some time. Oh, which ludicrous ship was that? We've had quite a few ridiculous ships. Did you actually submit it? The Hammer Time, wasn't it? It was this beast, wasn't it? Seemed to remember it didn't like things spawning in close to it. Yeah, let's have a quick look-see. Yeah, the torpedoes do seem to have done that. It's a real shame. And that's a weird thing about missiles, is that a lot of times when I want to add missiles now, it's going to be I want to add a couple of missiles, but lambs are just going to. Oh yeah, that's a pretty explosion. Yeah, that was the explosions are very pretty. They kind of blur out everything and don't do as much damage as you'd expect, but that was a very pretty explosion. I think it's because I'd only just spawned it in, it hadn't had a chance to load up anything. Just don't think this particular the blueprint probably wouldn't have saved with shells loaded, will it? Oh, here come that next couple of shells coming. Was it just sort of firing? No. Direct fire guns might be the way to go. It doesn't look like it's fully in control. Now, some of the AI might not be fully functional. It looks like, yeah, it looks like only two of the front two guns are working. I think it might have blown itself up with a torpedo or something. Ah, yes. Good point. Where is it? Where is it? Where are you? Oh, there we go. Boom. Yep. It's like, it's like a dot on the horizon, and even when the shells hit the water, they just completely annihilate it. Yeah. Some interesting ideas which I'm going to have to play around with. It's all about... There seems to be an option between scale and things due to how powerful missiles can be with regards to alpha strike potential. But yeah, and watch this fight play out and then end the stream there. And it is AI dead. Brilliant stuff. Yeah. So yeah, big direct fire guns, I actually think I might use more, because that was actually, it worked very well. And it kept completely safe. And less spammy, and honestly, yeah, this craft is pretty good. Considering, isn't this just the pure wood, isn't it? Oh, near enough. It's got a lot of wood in it. Yeah, good city fun. Yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna have to end it all there. I'm then work out on some of my plans and maybe do some editing in the background with regards to the campaign. Thanks for all turning up, and I shall see you next time. See ya.